This is the new TC Pride Podcast, episode 15, on-location coverage of Saturday at the History Pavillion at Pride 2016. Twin Cities Pride Podcast, live on location. It's Pride Weekend 2016. It's Saturday. We're at the History Pavillion, and I am here with
Andrea Jenkins. I am the oral historian for the Tretter Collection Transgender Oral History Project at the University of Minnesota. So right now we're in the History Pavillion. It's called the Tretter Collection. We are the LGBT archives at the University of Minnesota. And so we have an exhibition up right now about America's first gay marriage. We also have a couple of panels that identify some of the Minnesota first. We call it Minnesota Nice. So, Minnesota was the first state in the union to give protection to transgender community in the country in 1993. Minneapolis, the city of Minneapolis, was the first city in the country to give protections to transgender community in 1975. Again, these histories are sort of buried and uncovered, and so it's fascinating to learn about these things that are going on right here in our community. We have over 3,000 square or linear feet of materials at the Tretter Collection that's being archived at the university, and it covers a wide range of LGBT history. But one of the challenges is that there was very little histories around transgender communities. And so I came into the project to really focus on uplifting the narratives of the transgender and gender nonconforming community. So we call it the Transgender Oral History Project. We plan to interview up to 200 people. We've already interviewed 85 people to date. It's a very, very moving project that people become emotional. I've had so many people cry telling their stories. But it's also about the brilliance and the resilience of the transgender community, too, and how people have overcome so many adversities to be themselves and to be authentic to themselves and to their families. So I'm really thrilled to be working on this project and to be able to bring to the forefront these stories that have been uncovered and unheard up until now.
Thank you so much, Andrew. So I'm sure there's just so much more that we could talk about. But so we're going to call this a sneak preview, and actually we'd love to do a tour of the collection sometime if that's all right.
We can absolutely do that, Ryan. I would love to give you a tour and to talk more about the work that I'm doing.
Caroline Ravitz.
Hi, Carolyn. Can you please tell me, what does Pride mean to you?
Pride means everybody getting together and having a good time and sharing who they are.
And can you tell me about your first Pride?
My first Pride was a couple years ago with my good friend Caitlin, and we just came out here to have a good time, and we've made it a tradition ever since. Happy Pride.
Steve Garrigan.
And Jeff Goodson.
Well, Pride for me, at least at the beginning, was really just coming out and being able to say that I am a gay man out loud to my family, to my loved ones, and to just step out of the dark. Now, I go way back. This was in 1991 that I did that, and that was a big, big step for me because I had just left the priesthood, the Catholic priesthood, 6 weeks before. So this was a big, big transition for me.
Well, in general, Pride, to me, it's about being visible, about not hiding who we are and who we love, and being able to trust that we can be who we are in the world and participate and actually contribute to the world.
Yes, the first Pride was in 1991. I went with Jeff, and we just kind of walked around, and I remember that we got a T-shirt. We bought a T-shirt. Can you explain that T-shirt, Jeff? I can't remember it.
Yes, the T-shirt, it was a basic white T-shirt with a black design on it, very small black design. It was the equal sign standing on end, so 90 degrees tilted, with a heart around it. And the designer of the T-shirt said that what that design meant was equals attract.
I was with the Gay Men's Chorus for a number of years, and a couple of the years I did the parade, and that was nice to see. And I would just say for me this year in 2016, it was very important, given the things that have happened in Orlando. It can be a little bit fearful. You don't know what's going to happen, and I thought we're going anyway. Just again to state that we are gay and proud.
Jody? To me, it means just being able to be yourself and knowing that people won't see you differently and being proud of who you are. This is my first Pride, actually, and I'm loving it so far. It's been really fun. I'm here with my friend Samira, and yeah, it's awesome.
Steve Lenius, the Leather Life columnist for Lavender Magazine since 1995, and I started writing in the first issue, and I'm still in the magazine. My first Pride was so long ago. It was a lot smaller than this. It was in the same place. It was in Loring Park, but it wasn't anywhere near the scale of what this was. And I've been to lots and lots of them over the years. They're all wonderful. And I'll be marching in the parade tomorrow carrying the gigantic leather pride flag, which I have done for, I think, most years since they started that flag in 1998. And yeah, it's something I look forward to every year.
Thank you. And where can people go to maybe find out maybe more information about you or follow some of your work? LavenderMagazine.com. You can also buy my book, Life, Leather, and the Pursuit of Happiness. Thank you. Twin Cities Pride Podcast, live on location in Loring Park. It's Pride Weekend. Yay, right? Saturday afternoon-ish here in Loring Park. And I am here with...
Grace. Becky. Okay, so I'm pretty young, but it's pretty exciting for me to come out and see a lot of people who are really proud to be here and proud to be open about who they are. And, it means a lot to me to see other people who are also part of the LGBT community be so open about that. So I like it a lot. And, seeing stuff about the history and how much struggle there has been, it's really inspiring to see that we can be more open now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that just celebrating, seeing people celebrate who they are and just being open about that is really great to see and really, is really inspiring and encouraging.
Yeah. And just like being a young person, I know that people have really fought for me to be able to be here. So it's, I just want to come out and appreciate that, I guess.
And also, can either one of you tell me about your first Pride experience ever?
Oh, I think so we're like childhood friends, and I think we came together before either of us probably knew that we were not straight. So it was still pretty fun. And I remember it being a fun time. I think we came to the parade and very exciting.
I've been going for a long time with my family. So just I think that has really helped me sort of have a very open attitude towards coming to terms with different identities.
Dan. My first Pride was a couple years ago in Seattle, Washington, and it was interesting because I grew up in a strict home and it was kind of uncomfortable. But this time around, it's more comfortable. I feel more myself.
Julia. Pride to me means it's love, pretty much, just all love and celebration of it in all forms and being proud to love who you love and be who you are. My first Pride was last year, and I went with one of my best friends, Bria. We went to the parade, and it's pretty much the only time I've ever felt safe, being outside with just one female friend, because I did not feel like anybody was going to hurt me or anything, and it was very fun, very welcoming, very open. And then we went to the festival, and that was just all fun too. It's really hot out, but it never felt more safe in Minneapolis than I did then.
Alexis Haley Covey. For me, it's the freedom of after 50 years finally being who I am, and to be able to celebrate that with so many other people is really, really important to me, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Believe it or not, that was just last year, and I came with 15 different people, and we did a lot of walking and bought a bunch of stuff and a lot of sitting in the shade like we're doing today. And it was just a great experience, my first Pride.
Maylot? I guess to me, Pride is an opportunity to be yourself and see other people in your community sort of more vocally, whether that's their garb or whatever, that that there are other people like you, and it's sort of the group support of the thing. Yeah, my first Pride was when I was 16. I'm from Atlanta, which, as maybe you can imagine, is not the most open of places. So my first Pride was actually with our school's GSA, which was sort of an underground organization that wasn't allowed to exist. So we went to our first Pride. And in Atlanta, it's a lot less family-friendly than it is in Minneapolis, but it's also a lot more vibrant, and there are a lot of tutus and colors and rainbows, and it's just really crazy. And they shut down the whole section of the metro area, and it was a wonderful experience. Happy Pride!
Yeah, Nora O'Hara. Oh God, Pride means a lot to me. I think it's about, I think it's first and foremost about equality, right? It's about freedoms and liberties for everyone, not just LGBTQ communities. I think Orlando's highlighted some really interesting things within our culture that needed to be unearthed and needed to be spoken about. But for me, it's fairly personal, as well as sort of political. Ooh, my first Pride was actually in New York. I was 24? Yeah, just fresh, 24, 27 now. Not that it's like a huge age jump, but that's what's up. I was working in Chelsea at the time. Well, no, I hadn't been working there yet, but Callan Lord Community Health Center. So we are seemingly at the forefront of sort of LGBTQ rights in terms of community practice, in terms of transgender rights, in terms of pronouns and everything. And I ended my very short career there last fall. So now that I'm back, I'm just trying to find a way to mobilize people and stay involved personally as well. But we'll see.
TC Pride Podcast, live on location in Loring Park. It's Saturday, Pride Weekend 2016. We're in the VIP section, right? We're in the only air-conditioned part of Pride. And I'm here with this gentleman here. I'm here with
Jeff Moses. Pride means to me not buying into the second-class citizen, oh, poor homosexuals, we're discriminated against stuff, and just standing up and speaking your piece. I got out of the Army in 72, in Florida, and then came back up to Minnesota the long way around. Met my first husband, and, well, at that point, lover, because we couldn't be husband and wife. And shortly after we got together, Anita Bryant brought her campaign to Minnesota to undo the St. Paul Civil Rights Ordinance, which sort of forced me out of the closet. I had to go to my boss at the Minneapolis Society for the Blind and say, I'm going to be out on this, and you need to know it so it doesn't come at you blindsided. And he said, I can always find a reason to fire you, but that's not it. And from there on out, it was just one event after another. And then, unfortunately, the ordinance did go down. And it was the same winter that we had something like 45 consecutive days of below zero temperatures. And so Don and I decided to move to San Francisco, which was very different. Well, I'm 71, and everything has happened so fast. I am just unbelievable. I must confess, I have a confession to make. I was one of the gay people who thought that Jack and Mike's attempt to get married was a distraction and a bad move. So if they're listening, I'm sorry, I was wrong. But where were we yesterday? People, the Orlando evidence, all of a sudden, everybody is saying it's a terrible thing, and we're sorry, and we're supportive of GLBT rights, and it's just completely different. It's amazing. It's turned from a protest into a celebration, and I couldn't be happier.
Thank you very much for sharing your story today, sir. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride. Stay inside where it's cool.
Hi, my name is Nectary. Pride means to just take pride in who you are. Don't let anyone get in your way. If you want to be who you want to be, just be it. Well, this is actually my first Pride, and it's actually been a very, very amazing experience. I see so much people embracing who they are, and they're just happy and just excited. Oh, happy Pride, everybody.
The TC Pride Podcast has been a production of Podletter Media and Twin Cities Pride. Subscribe now on iTunes or Google Play and submit your first Pride story at myfirstpride.org.